Weddings in China are traditionally an expensive affair. Until 3 years ago, the Chinese wedding industry was worth $500 billion, all thanks to dramatic and elaborate ceremonies. However, it has been through a lot lately. The COVID-19 pandemic was not kind to the wedding planners, and now they face an even bigger threat: a decline in the number of couples willing to tie the knot. It's not a fairy tale for the Chinese wedding industry. You see, the Chinese economy has weakened, consumer confidence is waning, and it has become a headache for the officials working to revive the plummeting marriage and birth rates. Last year, there were 6.8 million marriages. This was 800,000 fewer than in the year 2021. And it was also the lowest, by the way, since 1986, the year the government started publishing the data. And with that, the Chinese population declined for the first time in the last 60 years. A good number of Chinese youths do not want to get married. And those who do not want to spend all that much. Until a decade ago, China reeled with an extreme wedding craze. The couples planned extravagant fusion weddings, combining Western traditions with Chinese. Brides walked down the aisle in flowy gowns that seemed straight out of a fairy tale. There would be bridesmaids, ring bearers. According to analysts from the China wedding industry development in 2014, couples spent an average of $12,000 per wedding in China. The national average annual income for urban employees was about $9,000 that same year. In the year 2020, the average spending per wedding reached $25,000. But this year, only a few had a budget of over $13,000. But now there has been a major shift. Marriage rates are down, bride prices are up. Yes, bride prices. It's a sum that a man pays to his future wife's family for her hand. China's one-child policy led to too few women. So some men turn to desperate measures. In some provinces, the bride prices are as high as $20,000. But once again, they are making weddings costlier. And the Chinese government does not want that. You see, it has cracked down on this ancient tradition of betrothal gifts. Local governments have rolled out propaganda campaigns. Some town officials have imposed caps on these prices and even directly intervened in private negotiations between the families. Xi Jinping is not leaving any stone unturned, you see. Of late, he has pushed for cheaper weddings. His government started sponsoring group wedding ceremonies. This was a part of a 3-year wedding customs reform announced in the year 2021. The reforms aimed to do away with costs and customs that contributed to the plummeting marriage and birth rates. But it was a risky bet. The Chinese government was interfering in the people's personal lives, after all. Not only did it run the risk of building resentment, but it also threatened the wedding industry's revenue. And this, coupled with the pandemic, was a nightmare for the wedding planners, to say the least. Before, the weddings were big business. Couples traditionally splashed out cash on gold jewelry, elaborate decor, luxury venues, but not anymore. Now they are opting for simpler weddings, smaller ceremonies, shorter guest lists, and not to forget, many do not want to have a wedding at all. How will China deal with this is the big question. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the updates on the move.